to be the first African American sheriff in the county's history. Um, and since then, we've been doing things to repair the public's trust. We've been developing programs that assist our communities. We've been restoring partnerships. Actually, I have a challenge coin board in my office, and every agency that we have worked with now gives us a challenge coin, so I can then show people when they come to my office of my open door policy what we're doing. And we're just doing the work. And we want people to listen to what we say. I tell people all the time, stop being social media keyboard warriors and come see me. And if you have something to say it to me. Don't hide behind a fake post and all that kind of stuff, man, because I'm not hiding behind anything or anybody, you know. And I walk the path that God has placed me on, and I'm continue to do it. Whoever like it, that doesn't bother me. Initially it did when I first got elected because I was trying to be a nice guy. And sometimes nice guys finish last, right? So we're gonna stand on what we do. And that's what we're doing. We stand on our business, as young kids say, 10 toes down. Um, and we are going to do what God intended us to
Mhm.
do until he tells me to stop.
There you
So
go.
we work with Next Door Radio as one of our corporate sponsors to bring information, town halls, these Sunday sit downs, to keep our public informed about what we got going on. And that's one of the things I said I would be transparent about. And I'm sure some of these questions that I get tonight will be, sharing some information about things that have transpired. And I'm not hiding from anything.
Mhm.
And if you want to say something to me, say it to me. I'm good.
And the great thing about what the partnership we have, of course, with the Granville County Sheriff's Office, of course, with the sheriff and Robert Fountain here at Next Door Radio, is we are open door, like you just mentioned. We every question that comes across our email, our Facebook Live, whatever it is, we're going to ask that question. We're not trying to hide it.
Nope.
Absolutely anything. So I appreciate that. So on that regards, let's kind of dive deep into, and I'm going to shout out. So Coco, I don't know if this is Coco 29108 at gmail.com. Okay, here we go.
Well, I'm gonna do one thing, Trey, because some of my folks may not be able to hear you.
Okay.
So what you can condense the question
Yep.
and then I'll repeat the question.
Okay.
So we, have a clear understanding of what
Okay.
my folks are hearing
Perfect.
With your side too.
Perfect. Like I said,
Coco
we
who?
are,
Coco beware, Coco what?
it's Coco 29108.
29108.
Yep.
Coco 29108.
Yeah.
A
No name listed.
no name listed.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. So, why are standards being changed to fit around people instead of being forced to raise to the standards?
Actually, that's not true. Because my thing is, and that's like my SWAT team, they have to shoot better than me to be a part of my SWAT team, right? I consistently shoot in the high 90s with every weapons platform we have, shotgun, rifle, and pistol. And I also go and lay my eyes on all the training that they do. So I believe that you either rise to the level of your training or you sink to your personal experiences. So we're trying to get our deputies never to sink to their personal experience, but to rise to the level of their training. And to the fact that, see, now Coco is different from other people, right? Other people complain that my people are going to so much training, including myself. But we're training everybody in every facet. And even I'm doing some sworn deputies that are dual sworn. So they'll be dual sworn. I have Secretary of State people that work for us that are sworn through the Secretary of State's office, U.S. Marshal Service. We're working with the DEA to have a part-time TFO with them. So we've been using the one that's out of Person County. But we're trying to raise the level of professionalism and training and standards for our agency. Even through the accreditation process, there are 164 key dimensions that I have to be comply with through my CALIA accreditation, and then on the jail side, the ACA accreditation. So we are raising the standard because when I got there, people soon forget what I walked into. Right? They think they walked into an agency that was crystal clean, and they weren't. There was no DEA certifications to house narcotics in our for jail side. We had two inmate in custody deaths. There was no DHA certifications for my detention staff. Right? So all of the people they had, I don't have a single deputy that's not certified on the road right now. So all this talk, again, people try to get political points on this stuff. But if you want to come talk to me, then we can have a conversation. And I think I have one person in BLET right now, and I have two or three that's coming that will be onboarding that are certified already. I just picked up Mr. Harris from Creedmoor PD. I don't try to poach people from other agencies, but when people see what we're doing, and the positive, progressive sheriff's offices we're becoming. We're not finished, right? So I'm gonna every day put my shoes on, put my boots on every day to try to make our agency better. And that's not from just talking, that's from walking the walk every day. My staff know when I get on 85 in the mornings, they know, hey, where the sheriff at? Somebody gonna get stopped. So I lead by example.
Yeah.
I go search warrants with them. We raided a house in Vance County with our SWAT team. Our SWAT team is being utilized by other counties now, all the way from Bertie County. We're doing stuff for them. We do. Let me. I can't get into too many stuff we do. We do stuff in Sampson County,
Yeah.
Durham, Person. So we're working with other stakeholders when they didn't want to work with us before. And that's because of the competent leadership, stability we brought to the agency, and because of the fact my training is so structured that people are like, okay, we're going to train there. Nash County Community College is also trying to have a public information officer training for us. So yeah, people just talk without knowing the facts, and I love facts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Again, this is the Sunday sit down here on Next Door Radio. My name is Trace Knight. We do this once a month. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email at contact@nextdoorradio.com, or you can shoot it by way of our live comment section on our social media between Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. Feel free to shoot us a comment, and we will ask that on air. Again, once again, from Coco 29108.
29108, go.
Yep. Why is your campaign more important than the officer safety?
Coco asked the question, why is my campaign more important than officer safety? Nobody has heard me say anything about campaigning for anything. So again, misinformation and trying to have talking points is something I guess this individual was trying to put out there. Officer safety is the paramount thing for us every day. Because I tell people two things are most important to me. Families first is what I tell my staff every day, because we don't know if they're going home to their families the same way that they came. And then the next thing is officer safety is one of the key and critical. Even when I have deputies that don't wear their vests sometimes, and I find out about them, they get disciplinary processes in place because of the fact they don't have their safety packages on. So officer safety is key and critical. And that's why we went to a newer fleet of vehicles to make sure that we getting the camera systems in those, making sure our new body cams are in place, making sure we getting the new tasers in place. Because again, when you're driving vehicles that are what 2013s, 14s, and 15s, again, people will soon forget what I walked into. But then you want to talk about things and not knowing why I'm doing certain things. So we're doing things. Officer safety is key and critical. That's why some of our vendors, even when we do off duty work and providing security at these events or folks, I make sure that we have two deputies per 100 people. If there's other things then I have to do and policies I have to put in place, then I'm going to do it. Protect my staff first. Then I worry about the community who's having these events and that kind of thing. But my staff are first, because if they're not able to function, they won't be able to protect the citizens of the community. So they have to be the first priority for me every day when they walk out. The community is my partner, and that's how we kind of do our business. So no campaigning, Coco, whatever the number is.
Coco 29108 asks, why is Clemens? And I want you to answer this question by who is Clemens?
Okay.
All right. For those that
Um,
are just listening in, why is Clemens still getting paid $90K when she's not certified and shows blatant favoritism?
So Coco asked a question about one of my staff, Chief Clements, and Coco again wrong. Um, this individual has a master's degree in criminal justice and public administration. She was a police chief for a small agency down east. She doesn't make $100,000, so there's another lie. So you can go to the public records and see that she does not make her salaries around 60 something. So again, we're wrong. She takes care of our accreditation processes. She's dual sworn as a jailer and as a LEO staff member. She is certified on both. She's certified as an LEO professional now. She's been through everything she needs to do her requirements. She's a drone instructor. She's overseeing our training division as well. She also is going to be certified as a detention officer because I'm dual swearing people in to better serve the community and to redeploy assets. So that's who she is. She has a long career in criminal justice and a long career in law enforcement and private security and administration. She's working with North Carolina Central University as far as our accreditation in CALIA and our ACA accreditation. So the favoritism, she's not in a position to be favoritism about anything. I make the final decisions on everything that happened at that agency. People bring me suggestions and recommendations about things, but at the end of the day, I make the decisions, not Chief Clements or anybody else. I'm sorry.
Oh, again, the sheriff of Granville County, Robert Fountain, joins us here on our Next Door Radio, part of our Sunday sit down, answering questions by way of our email at contact@nextdoorradio.com. Again, this is Coco at 29108, about 6 different questions. So we'll continue here.
What's next, Coco?
Yep. Why do you choose to show favoritism in your DEI hires? Is it a tax cut you're getting allowed to get paid $100K yearly when you don't do anything but use the system and position? And there's more to this question. Why when a deputy 40K is told to be a livable wage, why when we only get paid once a month, why would you tell us to shut up and stop asking about raises?
So Coco, it appears, must be a staff member that works for me with a slip of the tongue, what they just said, which is okay. And Coco knows the fact that Coco asked the question about DEI hires. She asked the question about my salary, and she asked the question about I'm thinking it's a she. I'm sorry, he or she, it binary, whatever it is. Um, they asked the question about DEI hires, my salary, favoritism, and those types of things. That kind of sums it up, Trey.
Mhm.
All right. So one, we don't have DEI hires. We hire people that apply. So if people don't work for a black man, that's their problem, not mine. I'm going to hire the people that come to me that is competent and qualified to serve. So the last time I checked, we are serving very well, depending on color. But if somebody wants to address a color issue, come see me. Stop talking. So the second thing is the premise that I show favoritism. I don't. So that's just like any divisions of things that I see people are competent and qualified to be in. And that's like the first when I was first elected. Here's the way I simplify this. When I was first elected, I knew that Chief Newman and those guys had the LEO side of the house kind of locked down. And those guys went through a lot to stay with the Granville County Sheriff's Office due to 3 sheriffs in 3 years. So I always appreciated the fact that I had people in place that I could turn my attention to what was going to be one of the most problematic places, which was my jail. So long answer. So I went to the jail side of the house and started looking at the females because historically, women and women of color were not allowed to be deputies on the road when you started looking around. There were very few women on the sheriff's office. There were very few Hispanic Latinos that could work because of the history of Granville County, right? So the history was those people either afraid to come and work for the sheriff's office because of certain reasons, or whoever provided the opportunities to work at the sheriff's office. So when I went over, the first thing I did was had a conversation with every jail staff member who's interested in being a sheriff's deputy. What are your qualifications and can you pass the BLET in the programs? So when I started doing that, it wasn't based on color because of the fact it was based on who was interested. So when we started having people come in and we started having people to be a part of our agency, people looked at us as a family of diverse individuals. So my agency is more white than black. So I don't know where if DEI is hiring white folks, if that's where this person is trying to go. Yeah, I do hire a lot of white folks, and I have a lot of white people to work for me. I have a lot of black people to work for me. I have a lot of Hispanic, Latino people to work for me. So the DEI hires, that's not something I do. We hire people that are going to bring something to the table, and people understand that. Again, I'm not going to lower myself to get in the mud with somebody who one doesn't want to expose who they are. If they're one of my staff members, they know they can come see me. I don't play favoritism, and even to the point, I let my chiefs interview people for promotional opportunities, right? So disciplinaries, those types of things. The chiefs that run their sections are the ones that make those decisions and recommendations, and they bring them to me. And if it's something that the chiefs say, "Hey, we want to do it," just like I just promoted Benji Laws to one of my captains. So I think both of my two of my chief captains are white. So I laugh at it because it's sad but funny that people still look at race as a predetermining factor that people don't hire. That's the sad part. And it's again people who don't know. And none of these people that say things like that are not coming to put a badge on to get in a car, to ride with us, to go knock a door, to go serve a warrant, to go tell a parent that their child is in trouble, right? Or to go make a death notification. They'll sit on social media and talk but do nothing. So that's their thing, not mine. I'm gonna lead by example.
Again, this Sunday sit down here on Next Door Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Next Door Radio app. My name is Trey Stein. A final question from Coco 29108 at gmail.com.
29108.
Yep. Why do you keep hiring untrustworthy people, but more importantly, but then in positions that put others in danger? The report of idling just came out. We see who had the top percentages.
Yeah. So the top percentages, and Coco had another question, and I know this person now is internal, right? So that's fine because Coco's question is, why do I keep hiring people that put others in jeopardy? And why does idling thing with vehicles um is come to somebody's concern? So one, the people we hire are competent and qualified to do their job. And if whoever's on this thread that don't want to work for the Graham County Sheriff's Office, leave. Plain and simple. If you don't like what I'm doing, leave. But that's fair for me, because if you're gonna be having all these conversations and you won't come to me, then you have no intestinal fortitude to stand before me. Because I don't really terminate people. I talk to people and I try to help them before I hurt them, right? So here's the problem. And again, somebody's trying to make this thing something that it's not. Because we got new vehicles and because I went to a zone district patrolling. So we have a south, middle, and north divisions now. So that means that deputies don't have to fly all over the county, which we in turn reduced our response times when we have to, calls for service. So at night, and if the person was going to be transparent, they should have released the report and put the names out there. The people that have the most highest idling time are K9 units and the people that work at night. So the ones that work at night, there's not a lot going on. But I have 6 deputies, 5 or 6 deputies on every rotation. I'm trying to get to 7 on every rotation. So we'll better, serve the public and community. So when there's nothing going on, we've asked them to, hey, go do property checks. And then once you do property checks, go to one of the satellite offices because we have three offices now that people can go in. Sometimes they have to charge their body cams or they're working on reports and they will sit there and do those reports or will have their body cams charging or whatever. So those are the idling times. So most of the time I think one of the highest ones was like $90, I think it was $98 over a quarter. So idling. So when we talk about these things, people throw these comments and questions out but don't have the facts. So if we have more people on boots on the ground, and I know it's a song, but if we got more boots on the ground, you're gonna have these things where you got people sitting places because our community is being patrolled, and then they will stop because during the summers we're gonna pick up, it'll go down. But I told my staff, look, because the quarter was over November, December, January, a lot of deer run at night. So to reduce the fact that we're going to be having vehicles hit by deers or us hitting deers and things, find somewhere, do your paperwork, do your reports, do in-service training in your vehicle if you didn't want to go to the satellite office. So to bring that up, is another talking point, but not understanding if they would come to me, hey, this is why we did this. And that's why those numbers appear to be where they are. But I think like $90 per quarter or something like that, which is not a lot of money when you're talking about the number of vehicles that we have. Night shift does do rounds, do security checks, but then they'll go sit somewhere and do training. That's my thing. Do your in service. So they have required in service training. So we don't have to bring them in on an off duty to give them some overtime. Do your in service on a cadence on your own online. So that's why. And you know, people may not agree with it, but again, I got more staff than pretty much everybody's ever had. And we work.
Sunday, sit down here on Next Door Radio. My name is Trey Stein. On behalf of nextdoorradio.com, the Next Door Radio app, the Graham County Sheriff's Office, and the Graham County Sheriff and Robert Fountain joins us here, a part of our Sunday sit down. The next couple questions we have are coming from William Anna. What was the outcome of the officer excessive for investigation? Have these officers been returned to active duty?
Um, and I just met with the county attorney, and the investigation from my part is over. If people look at Connor versus Ohio, the use of force, my use of force continuum is officer presence is the first thing we do when it goes from officer presence up to deadly force. But one of the categories is self-interest behavior, stopping someone from harming themselves, right? So we had an individual who was in custody. He had assaulted two of my deputies. We had put him in a vehicle and he began to bang his head against the bars in the vehicle. He was in a for secure area, but we didn't want to take him out of the car because of the fact then would have been something else. So we looked at the individual that used the taser on the guy in the upper left shoulder to get him to bring him into compliance. He abandoned his resistance, stopped beating his head. We had medical, the ambulance came, EMS came, checked him out. He was good to go. We When I found out about it, I think I was out of town. I came back, and once I was notified, and SBI was going to look into it, and I was like, okay, so we're going to have Durham come into it from our perspective, an outside person, to work with our Mr. Bayless, who was my consultant, who was not basically attached, and one of my professional training and standards investigators. And they sat down, they went through everything. We were all in agreement. They were in agreement. They made the recommendation. Hey, sheriff, put them back to work. Case law covers this and this. Your use of force policy covers you in this. And they went back to work. We put them back to work. I think about 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. They might have been on desk duty or administrative leave. Now they're back working, and we're waiting to hear back from the State Bureau of Investigations what they want to do. My findings have been submitted through my county attorney to the district attorney's office, and what I see and what I did. So it's my determination that they were within the policies, which we have, and they're working. Plain and simple.
And Robert Fountain, the Granville County Sheriff, joins us here on our Next Door radio program, part of our Sunday sit down. Another question that we have come in: the new body cams and dashboard cameras that were approved by the county commissioners previously, how long until they are installed and actively working?
We talked to Axion, which is the company we're going to use. They should be in within the next 3 to 4 weeks. It was a turnaround time. Once you approve those things, it's not like an immediate thing. So once the commission says, "Hey, yes, you can purchase those," then it still has to go through a legal process to sign off everything. And once the signature is done, then the company can place that order to get them back to us. But we still have some in our vehicles now. We have some deputies that bought GoPros in their vehicles, so they want to protect themselves as well. So if I went ahead and said yes, but understand anything that I need from your system, then I'm going to use it, and that's something that protects them. It protects us until we get our stuff in. And I think it should be within the next 3 or 4 weeks. And then after that, all of our upfits and our newer vehicles through our lease program will come already equipped with body cams, docking stations, as well as in-car cameras. So that's going to be part of our next batch of vehicles that we get in. I've been talking to Enterprise and I've been talking to the county about how many vehicles we'll get in this time. So they'll come already ready to go with everything in them.
Rob Fountain joins us here on a part of our Sunday sit down. Another question that we do have: the Granville County Sheriff's Office vehicles are now being leased through a leasing program, as are the county vehicles. How is that working out for the sheriff's office? Are they satisfied with the program so far?
We are getting satisfied with the program. And again, we have the largest fleet. So when Enterprise went to Drew Cummings, our county manager, and he had to have my buy-in, and the program is it's working. Um, it's saving money. So the fiscal responsibility is there for us, and we're getting new vehicles turned over faster. We're moving to all interceptors. We got 8 more coming in July after the budget year turns over. We're surplusing all our older vehicles. But those 8, I think we've got 5 so far. Those 5 are on our fleet. Most of them, I think only one is in our special operations. The other ones went to the patrol units. The other 8, I think, will be going to our patrol units. Um, and we're satisfied. We're happy. Um, but we have still some work to do. We have to redefine how that looks. And I think from a financial standpoint, for me, um, I don't have to go out and spend 50, 60, or $80,000 on vehicles when we are spending a whole lot less with a lease program. And we get them newer. And again, it cost maintenance goes down. The thing that was kind of killing us is we had these 2016, 15 vehicles. When they get 80,000 miles, anybody in law enforcement will tell you, a Dodge Charger at 80,000 miles, you're going to see that fan go through that radiator. So we got vehicles that got 130, 150,000 miles on 'em. So
Mm,
that's why we went to a process where we can get newer vehicles, turn them over faster,
mm.
not have the maintenance behind those, and again saves our taxpayer dollars. That's the fiscal responsibility. We're happy with them. The enterprise fleet is very welcoming, and our mom and pop shops, M&H Tires, Oliver's Towing, all the people we use, Black Tire Service, everybody we use, they still get the revenue generated from us to them. So we keep our local mom and pop businesses and making money too. So we didn't want to go to a big dealership to get stuff done. And that was one of the things I said. If our mom and pop shops that we still working with don't get a benefit of getting revenue from this process, then I wouldn't do it. But once they assured me that they could, then we went ahead and told the county manager, let's go ahead and enter into this agreement and see how it works. But for right now, it's working well. I don't have any problems with it. And we're selling our vehicles to them at a higher price than we would just, keep them and get rid of them later. So I don't have any issues with enterprise or the fleet management program right now.
Right now. I see where you went there. Final question from Mr. William Anna. What are your existing staffing levels? Have county commissioners prove additional staffing levels for 2025 and future years?
um, Repeat that again, Trey, because I'm
Yeah,
gonna repeat it.
that's okay. What are your existing staffing levels? Have county commissioners approved additional staffing levels for 2025 and future levels?
All right. So the question was, what are my current staffing levels? And additionally, have the county commissioners increased our staffing pattern or our FTOs? My current staffing level is I have 66 sworn deputies on the LEO side. I got 49 detention officers on the detention side. No, the county commissioners has not given me any more positions. I've asked for them. I had originally said that based on our county's financial issues and budgetary constraints, that I was going to try not to ask for a lot of stuff, but that's not fair to the community. It's incumbent upon me to ask for things, and it's the county commissioner's job to tell me no. So they can tell the citizens why we're not doing things, but we are growing as a community. So law enforcement has to be a part of the infrastructure conversation, right? So we have 66 sworn deputies on the LEO side. I think I have 64. One is in BLET, made 65. I think I'm hiring one in the next April 14th. So we would have a full complement of certified deputies on the LEO side. On the jail side, I think we only have 4 vacancies out of the 49. And we have people in the pipeline to be hired that are already certified that are coming from other agencies because they will come over. In fact, what I did, Pender County came to us on Friday. They're building a jail like ours. They wanted to see how Granville County Sheriff's Office works. We have other counties coming to us to see, hey, how are you guys so successful in what you're doing as far as inmates, the assaults, contraband, all of those things. They want to know how we're doing it. But no, our staffing pattern is I'm asking for positions. In fact, the we're glad that Oxford is going to pick up one of the schools in the city. I think Creedmoor has theirs, Butner has a couple of theirs. We still have the ones in the city, I mean, the county. But we need more because you're about to combine 2 middle schools. So those middle schools are going to come together with the enrollment almost doubling. But you're still only talking about having one SRO. And the same thing with Webb High School. You're talking about bringing a number of kids to Webb, but you're not increasing the staffing pattern for me to have those bodies in Webb. Stan Winborn and I have been having conversations about me possibly getting funding for those positions, but I have not yet got from the county to say, hey, we're going to give you 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 new positions. But my goal is to have 2 SROs at every school, as far as the high school and middle. And I'm sending 8 of my current staff to SRO school, and I'm just redeploying resources. I'm making the training again, back to Coco's question. I've got 8 deputies that'll be going to SRO school because the current general statute only allows me to have a deputy in a school for 20 hours a week. But if I certify them as an SRO, they can work as many hours in that school as I need.
Mm,
So my goal is
okay.
to redeploy assets and resources. So again, if the county commissioners cannot give me those positions, I can still operate and just maintain the safety and security of these schools on my own. But I would love for them to give me at least 2 or 3 more positions that we could then have 2 at Webb, 2 at Granville Middle, without pulling from, robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mhm.
So, but I've been working well with the county commissioners. In fact, Russ May and Mark Griffin rode along with me doing an operation a couple Fridays ago, and they could see, okay, you guys are
Okay.
doing what you need to, and they were kind of impressed with our operation. And I think that was, I will say, hey, Russ May and Mark at their county commissioner meeting said that they were kind of impressed with kind of how we were doing things. About the knowledge, the people that they rode with, the knowledge, professionalism. I think one Russ was talking about the uniform. Chase Parrott wears a Class A, a Class B uniform all the time. That's him. So, but yeah, our staffing patterns. We don't have many vacancies. I wish I could have about 5 more, but I know what the county's needs are. And I know the budget constraints they're under. So, well, I'm gonna do what I have to make sure the county is safe with the current staffing levels that I
Mhm.
have.
Again, my name is Trey Stein on behalf of Next Door Radio. And of course, this is the Sunday sit down with the Granville County Sheriff, Mr. Rob Fout. We just had one come across our email chain. This is our final question of the night so far. Of course, if you want to answer or ask any questions, you can go to our live Facebook feed and comment on there, of course, across all of our social media, Twitter, Instagram, and even YouTube. Sheriff Fountain, why don't you focus more on traffic enforcement? People are driving like they are in NASCAR these days, especially on Canada Mill Road, and I'm think I'm saying that road
Yes,
correct. Okay.
yes. So what happens is, and I got the receipts, right? When people send me emails or text messages, hey sheriff, can you pay attention to a certain road? I have a patrol group of people who will go out there as soon as they tell me that they got something. We send people. I think the last one was Range Road was a hot topic, so we hit Range
Mhm.
Road. We knocked that out. Fairport, the southern end, Bruce Garner Road. So all people have to do is tell me. So that's why we send all these kids to radar school, because we want to make sure that. Did I repeat that question? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, well, the question was, why don't I focus on traffic stuff? Speeding, because people drive crazy. It's like NASCAR out there, and we do. Um, in fact, we operate all over the county, but I do want people to call me, text me, call the sheriff's office, send me an email. If you have a specific area that we need to look at and address, I will have my radar team, patrol team, not the deputies, the guys that are certified with radar, go patrol those areas, and we make those priorities to slow people down. So even like on 15, we put speed signs up. We do these patrol saturation operations. We were in Oxford on Friday doing the same thing, Loop Road. So we will go where people tell us and bring that to me, to pay more close attention to it. But again, remember, there's over 500 square miles, and we're everywhere answering calls and doing stuff and being servants of our community. But if you ask me to be more specific at a place, I will send my guys out there and ladies out there that are radar certified day and night to cover those areas and pay more particular attention to them.
Fantastic. Question that just came across the Facebook feed. Will you hire preliminary deputies if passed?
If will I hire probationary or
Preliminary.
preliminary deputies if it's passed?
Mhm.
All right, so right now the general statute has pulled the power away from the sheriff, right? To where the sheriff could hire people traditionally, swear them in. You, as soon as you take your hand off the Bible, you're a deputy with the same rights and authorities as a
Mm.
sheriff, right? You can arrest, you can do all that, you can serve papers. So now the sheriff's training and standards has pulled that back from the sheriffs, and you only can hire people that are certified through BLET. If it goes back to where the sheriff has the authority to hire people who haven't been to BLET, I will hire those individuals, have them go through an FTO process, because sometimes you got guys coming out of the military who serve their country but can't be a deputy until they go to BLET, right? But they may have all of the requirements and skill sets to say they could be competent, qualified to do the job. So, yes, I will hire individuals that meet the requirements that we will have if the law changes. But right now, the law has not changed. The General Assembly has not, training and standards has not done anything for us to go back to that process. Some sheriffs say it's it's a slippery slope, I guess you would say. But in the same context, it's about the candidate they're trying to get you to hire versus the process. So we just wouldn't hire somebody just, you know, with nothing that would just go through a field training process. We wouldn't do it. Right now, that's why we have so many certified, because we stacked from the jail to the road through BLET. Now that's where we are. And a lot of agencies wonder, how do you have so many certified people? We just strategically
Mm.
did it a different way, and it worked. And most of my guys and ladies are happy with what they're doing now here serving these people. So I thought somebody have a question on there for me? Oh, that was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all looking at the same thing.
We're looking at the same thing. Yep.
Okay, cool,
You're
cool,
good.
cool.
Again, my name is Trace on behalf of Next Door Radio. Robert Found, he is the Granville County Sheriff here, of course, for the Sunday sit down. If you have any questions, of course, we just had a Charles Wilkins just email us by way of our contact at nextdoorradio.com. No further questions so far. Of course, if we have anything across the way, we will address those. But my friend, we're going to open up the floor. Feel free to talk anything about what's on your mind, and we'll kind of go from there.
We just want to just bring, I like to keep people informed what we're doing, right? So we're in the process now of a few things to help. We have a lot of issues going on with our school systems right now, as far as how do we deal with children that see traumatic events or may see their parents, engaged with the law enforcement. So we've talked to Stan Winborn and his folks. We've talked to Miss Trusant with DSS about working together to start a program called Handle with Care. So Handle with Care is a program which Lieutenant Brad O'Brien, who's a white guy that I promoted to be over my SROs, not a DEI hire. I'm just being facetious. Coco, that we will be able to contact somebody in Stan Winborn's chain that oversees the social workers at these schools, to be able to identify, have the social workers at the schools that, hey, if a kid is having issues, um, the eating, disruptive behavior, sleeping in class, becoming, withdrawn away from other students, we want to make sure that we handle these children, and school system work with us, and we work with DSS to identify kids, not about the events, but hey, just pay attention to this child because they may have seen something that could be triggering them to act out. And we just rather get ahead of the game
Mhm.
and try to play catch up, because sometimes these kids are crying for help if we're not paying attention to them. So we've started this initiative, Handle with Care. We're going to go through a training with the DSS, with the school system, with my deputies, SROs, to understand this process. We are again getting housing, creating the CIT program and platforms that we just had a group of individuals graduate from. We have another class coming up. We're having a process that we're working with high school juniors and seniors called Shadow the Sheriff. So these kids who political science or military or law enforcement, goal oriented, and Vance Granville Community College, to come shadow us, not just the county commissioners and the adults. We want these juniors and seniors. And I went and saw the people at teen court and talked to some of the kids there, so I could understand, how can I be a better servant to the children of our community, the high school kids? How do we develop those relationships? Much like what Sheriff Tyree Davis and I did the pizza challenge with Halifax County and Granville County when South Granville was in the tournament. So we're trying to do things to make kids see us different. So when there are issues that these kids see in the streets and they see one of us that they can relate to, they may change the way they think and the way they act and the way they respond to us. So those are two programs. We're having a bench press competition for the high school kids because I want to help raise money for Granville, South Granville High School, and for Webb High School's athletic programs, because we're going to still have more kids going to these schools who may not get the opportunity to play or have cleats or stuff like that. We want to see get these stakeholders and partners together to, one, bring the kids together, to bring law enforcement together, to have fun so we can build these relationships, because it takes a community to raise a child, right? It takes a village. So that's some of the stuff we're doing. um Gosh, shout out to sheriff. I think it was a couple more things that I threw
Yep.
out there.
Another question just popped up, Sheriff. Of course, this Sunday sit down. We do this once a month here on Next Door Radio. If you can, you mentioned a lot about what the community events that you have coming up. A local business here in town actually said, elaborate on your community events and program, i.e., Safe Kid and outreach for you.
Man, Ashley Black. Oh, let me repeat the question. So the question was, expound or speak on Safe Kids and some community stuff that we're doing. Um, and the question, my answer is, we just kind of revitalized and revigorated the Safe Kids program. Deputy Ashley Black is now um, kind of doing a lot more. I think she just did the temperature reading thing where she sat her car outside and compared the temperature internally versus externally, and we want to see um, what that effect is on a child or even a canine
Mhm.
or animals in vehicles. So we're expanding that. We've also going to partner with Little Caesars. They have some community events coming up, so they're going to be pretty much our corporate sponsor. We're going to kind of put something together to where we partner with them to address the community's concerns. I think April 12th we have an event coming up with Little Caesars. We're going to have our vehicles out there, our canines out there. We want people to come out. We're also going to embed Little Caesars into our jail process.
Hmm,
So we're
okay.
going to look for opportunities to have them be able to sell pizzas to the inmates, which then the inmates will, again, this is something we've been trying to put together over the past year and a half, 2 years, how we can do things to better serve our inmate population, to
Hmm.
give them some sense of being, still somebody's child, right? So that's why we have looked at partnering with them. And I can say Oliver's Towing is one of our sponsors that does things for my deputies. We have a lot of stakeholders in this business. So to explain those things, it's huge. And I didn't know the magnitude of what love that people show us.
Mhm.
I stopped a guy on 85 yesterday from New York, speeding, right? So we have these conversations. The next thing I know, he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna feed your whole staff." And we continuously, we stop people in the professionalism. An individual that he and I don't see each other. He doesn't see me on the same side political spectrum because we've never had a conversation. And he went through a traffic stop the other day or something. I didn't get the whole conversation that what had happened, but he texted me and was like, "We may not agree on political stuff." He said, "But the professionalism that your deputies are displaying, I gotta say, okay, you're doing right." But our corporate sponsors, we're doing more with them. We're gonna do more stuff. I think we have a town hall meeting coming up. I gotta get that to you, Trey.
Yep.
We have a town hall meeting coming up at the library in Creedmoor. And again, we're gonna continue to do those same things. The listening sessions. I'm gonna be open to any and everybody. Anybody that comes in that office and say, "Hey, you got a minute to show me around?" Again, I say the county pays for that building. The county pays our salaries. So if I have an opportunity to meet anybody that want to see the house they're paying for, because it makes no sense to me for anybody to pay for a house they never walked in or been in. So
Mm.
that's why I tell people, come see me. It's not about anything to say, there's a negative conversation. I'm just gonna show you your tax dollars at work.
Mhm.
I will put you in a vehicle with somebody and say, "Hey, this is what they do," and let them speak for themselves. Because my thing is to be transparent and let you be the gatekeepers of what we do. Because that's the way we do it. But our corporate sponsors, we're working well with. I'm looking at some other opportunities. Our Stepping Up program, we're really doing a lot of work with our 5 county Stepping Up
Okay.
program. I've held an LCAS. We hired an LCAS through our MAP program through the county through the opioid recovery money. We've opened the library. And inmates physically go into our library.
Oh,
Um, One big thing, speaking of partnerships, under the American Cares Act, ACA, there was a subsection in that where inmates could get insurance, no cost insurance, while they're in our jail. So we have been trying to get this thing working because and I'm going to speak to my budget. Our budget is solid. The only issues we have are healthcare issues and safekeepers and juveniles. Those are the 3 critical areas that budgets get kind of ripped up. And I think I read something the other day. The sheriff of Person County, his commissioners gave him like 1 million to back pay bills for
mm,
medical expenses because I have 130 some inmates in my jail. And if anybody can tell me who's going to get sick, go to the hospital today, I need to hire them and they need to play the numbers for me, right? Because those things I cannot judge. I can have a precursor to say, hey, this is what we need. But at the end of the day, I think the way that we fix it from a county's perspective is don't put inmate uh, medical as a budget line item. We need to have that separate and apart from the sheriff's office budget. We need to have juveniles because the sheriff's office cannot house juveniles. So Buckner, Creedmoor, or Oxford arrest a juvenile, I may not know it until I get a bill 5 or 6 months later. They're being housed somewhere else.
mm,
So there are county dollars to house those guys and young ladies somewhere else at $300 a day. The state pays 150 a day. The county pays 150,
mm.
but they never come through the threshold of my door. And if nobody calls me and say, "Hey, you got 10 juveniles sitting somewhere," I wouldn't know it until I got a bill from the state. So I think certain things that we work through, and I think Miss Jennifer from the finance department and I are working well. Drew Cummings and I are kind of having these conversations. The county commissioners, Russ May is a liaison, Tony Cozart, the liaison for the sheriff's office. We're having these conversations. How can we make this thing work? And I think the simplest thing is not to put them in a sheriff's office line item because you can't control medical costs
Mm.
except for the insurance that we are providing through the American Cares Act. And instead of say if you have a massive heart attack in the jail, you're talking about 20 to 30, $50,000, right? So now we're
Wow.
enrolling inmates in this health coverage to where it's only an $800 deductible that we have to pay a copay to. So it
Mm,
goes from spending 10 or 15, 20,000 to $800. So then our jail costs, medical costs are driven way down. So right now we're going backwards. Everybody that's in the jail, um, we have a grant funded position, a community care worker that's embedded in my jail now. And she is going back talking to all the inmates, getting all the documentations, getting them signed up. And this no cost insurance follows them once they leave
mm.
if they don't make a certain amount of money. So those are things that we're working on, initiatives and platforms and community partners to help guide us to make this whole sheriff's office better, to make us fiscally responsible, but still taking care of these inmates. So if I can drive the cost down by 2/3 as far as inmate medical bills, then that's more money again that the county is saving. And we've just had conversations with the Granville Medical Center about what we can do as a partnership to see about, hey, can our hospital provide some of the same care? But if they cannot, the same company we are with, Southern Health Partners, we continue that strong relationship with them, but have them assist us with the Granville Medical Center and other hospitals in this area as well. So I have a broad kind of perspective on how to deal and work with everybody, as long as it's nothing that seems nefarious,
Mhm.
as long as your reputation's intact, and as long as you can do things that are just. Because that's I don't look at black businesses, white businesses. I don't look at it. I look at what you're going to bring to the table. So that goes back to, how I kind of do business. And nobody can tell anybody that I'm not fair to work with everybody. So I hold my people accountable. They should hold me accountable. The community should hold me accountable and speak truth and come see me.
Mhm.
Stay off social
Where,
media.
all right, where can they, of course, where can they find you?
Oh,
For
find
those
me.
for those that are just tuning in for the very first time, where can they find you?
525 Newcomers Drive, Oxford, North Carolina, 27565. I got two people that kind of help my schedule. Miss Donna Webster. You can email her at
Good
Donna.
people. It's good people.
That's right. Donna.webster@granvillcounty.org. And if you call the office, two individuals will probably answer the phone. That's Miss Tanaja Moore and Miss Smith. And Miss Smith and Tanaja will be the ones that be like, hey, Sheriff, this person want to come see you. And I tell them, get with Miss Donna, put it on the schedule. I want to see everybody. I want everybody to come see me. If you see me in the streets, come talk to me. If you see me in a restaurant, come talk to me. I think I've met more people over a plate of chicken in the past few
I
weeks.
mean, you got my heart at food, Coach. I'm just saying. Yeah.
And even to the point we do community events. And I try once a month to do something for the community where I can invite certain people to come to look at what we do. Just be a part of the understanding because we've changed the culture. And unless you come and see the change of the culture, I've rebranded the whole agency in less than 2 years. I brought the standards up in less than 2 years. Um, we've restored the public's trust. We're doing these things that people didn't think we would do. People thought the wheels would fall off, but yet we're moving forward every day. No steps back. We always try to move forward. If we make a mistake, we own it and we learn from that mistake and don't make the same mistake twice, right? So that is the way that you get better. You learn from your mistakes because I would love anybody in this whole conversation to tell me who's perfect. I only know one person perfect and he's dead, and his name is Jesus. So he lives within us. So if you think you're perfect, come ride with us, get in the car with us, and then see where you may fail. Come shoot with me. So, I tell these young ones, you can't outshoot me, you can't be on the team. So scout sniper in the military, Marine Corps did the whole nine. So, but those things we've done. And I'm proud of what we've done. Do we have more to do? Yep. Can we get better? Of course you can. Anybody who doesn't think and can't learn from everybody, I try to learn from my deputies every day. If they have a new strategy, a new technique, everybody needs to know what they're doing. Some of my sergeants are very intelligent and will bring processes to the table to say, hey, Sheriff, look at this. Even another night when I was out with them, they was like, hey, Sheriff, we need to have quarterly meetings. I'm like, okay, cool. And we're going to start having quarterly meetings with just the supervisors. Because most times I'll come in, their shift changes. Um, Everybody voted on the shift they wanted to be on to better serve their family life and what they do. Um, and we've not had any complaints about that. But we're going to continue to do better things and we're going to continue to be accountable. And I just learn from my staff. So from that perspective, you build from the bottom up, but you lead from the top down. That's just something that I've always believed in. Lead from the top down, but you build from the bottom. Because everybody's that turn those corners every day are going to have a different view from me getting out there doing it. And technology and these kids are smart, very smart. And I appreciate all my team. So, and then my chaplains. My chaplain service is going well. Clint Owens is about to do the community. Again, Clint and I different perspectives politically on certain things, but to have him be a part of my team, um, he's going to start the Citizens Academy back up. So Clint Owens and a couple other folks are going to start the Citizens Academy. Our community advisory board. I think Clint is going to be one of my chaplains as well. Um, so he sees things differently. He still has his conservative views and ideologies. I still have my liberal side of the house too. But I am a conservative Democrat, right? So, and whatever that means to certain people, I stay in the middle. I work from the middle. I don't pick sides. That's why you don't see me endorsing nobody or talking bad about nobody. I do my work, and that's what it is. Serve the community as basically in the middle as I can, keeping politics out of it. And that's what we do.
There you go. Again, my name is Trey Stein on behalf of Next Show Radio. We're going to save, of course, we got a lot continue conversation on our next topic. We're running out of time here,
Cool.
Sheriff. But my friend, God bless you. Thank you so much for what you do, what you stand for. Anything else you want to make sure you kind of bring
Well,
to the attention?
yeah, and it's been something William Anna has kind of pressed me on. In fact, Williams, and I'm gonna say this to William. William Anna brought his grandson down to the sheriff's office, and he wanted to see our vehicles and those types of things. And I gave William a new challenge going that we got, and let his grandson see my car, and then he saw some of the other vehicles out there. And one of the videos I think we shot was one of my deputies was able to play Bad Boys
Oh,
while they recorded a video of him standing beside one of the cars. And the question is starting to come, am I going to run again? And I've kind of stayed away from that conversation because in effect, I wanted to make sure that people understood the work we were doing first. And we do have more work to do. So yes. Um, and I've said God has a path for me, and that path is to stay where I am. I've been approached to run for Congress, and I'm not doing that. That's not my thing. Um, I love what I do, serving the people of Granville County as a sheriff. And today it's official. I've talked to the Board of Elections. I got all my stuff straight. And yes, we'll be running for reelection. So to anybody out there that has questions about me and my campaign, what we're going to do, it's all about stability. It's all about leadership, and it's all about the integrity of our agency. So those are the three things that we're going to continue to build on. We're going to continue to build relationships. We're going to continue to love our neighbors. And that's what God says for us to do. Right.
there
I
you go.
thank you, Trey Snott, for everything you do. My team that came with me tonight. I know I keep y'all out late sometime, but I love my community. I love my family. To everybody that supports the Granville County Sheriff's Office, I love you. And God bless. Thank you.
Likewise, God bless you, my friend. Again, my name is Trey Stein on behalf of Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Nextdoor Radio app. He is the Granville County Sheriff and Mr. Robert Fountain. God bless you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We'll
brother.
see you again. We should say next month.
Next week.
There you go. Next week. That's exactly right. Until next time, God bless. Thank you so much for being a part of our program. We will see you next time.